Well, good morning, everyone. So for anyone who has ever been part of a startup, you know that so much of your drive comes from your own personal story. And my personal story with artificial intelligence began about a year and a half ago. I was at home holding my newborn baby, who's not an artificial intelligence. Her name is Lila, though. And during that time, I was trying to listen to as many podcasts as possible about being a new dad. Because then, like admittedly now, I have no clue what I'm doing. So I'm holding my little spud in the backyard, and we're sitting on my swing, and I'm listening to this podcast saying that within 20 years, 90% of jobs as we know them today will no longer exist due to artificial intelligence. And that wasn't sitting right with me. So I'm holding my daughter Lila, and I'm wondering, how am I going to help her guide, or how am I going to help guide her through life and navigate her career when everything around us seems to be transforming to be serving AI so rapidly? It wasn't even a week or two later that I heard the news about Diablo Canyon closing and how our local economy was going to be impacted in the near future, and then how that closure would be impacting her schools due to a loss of funding. And so with all of that context, you'll see that why when I heard about Unanimous AI, I felt like lightning struck in a bottle, and that I had this new life calling, so to speak. Unanimous AI is an artificial intelligence company, just not like typical AI. We aren't another Siri, and we aren't another Alexa. We aren't replacing human beings. In fact, we're doing the exact opposite. At Unanimous, we believe that humans are smart, really, really smart. Everyone in this room has over 100 billion neurons in your brain, and each of those 100 billion neurons are connected to thousands of other neurons, forming trillions of connections within your mind. And that represents more computing capacity than even the world's strongest supercomputer. Organisms in nature are smart as well. Over the last 4 years, we've been observing the birds and the bees and the fish too. And all of those organisms do something really, really interesting. Birds flock and fish school and bees swarm. But why do they do that? Well, if you look at a honeybee, for example, a typical honeybee has about 1 billion neurons in its brain. And that little brain is about the size of a piece of sand. If you were to give a single individual bee a complicated task, for example, picking an optimal location for a new hive, something that bees have to do every year, it wouldn't be able to pick an optimal location on its own. And yet when bees think together as one interconnected system, biologists have shown that they picked an optimal location over 80% of the time. How do they do this? Well, bees in a hive basically think together by vibrating their bodies in something that biologists call a wiggle dance. So we've modeled our software after nature, and that's led to incredible results. Recently, for example, we correctly predicted the Kentucky Derby Superfecta. The odds of making that prediction, which is selecting the first 4 horses in order correctly, are about 1 out of 540. We also predicted the most recent Academy Awards with 94% accuracy. And we did that by bringing together just 50 average movie watchers, not even experts, and connecting them to our system in real time. In comparison, as individuals, they only predicted the accuracy by about 60%. So over the last 4 years, we've been working on R&D, and we've been perfecting our technology so that now we can work with some of the world's largest Fortune 100 enterprise customers, helping them with projects that span from financial market predictions to working with market researchers to find optimal consumer choices, and even advancing medicine and radiology. Last month, I was in Hong Kong, and we were helping keynote the Asian Investors Conference. It's a huge event where the average investor there represents over $500 million to $1 billion in assets. And that was right after attending South by Southwest in Austin, Texas. For those of you who aren't familiar with South by Southwest, it's one of the world's largest media and entertainment conferences in the world. And I'm not sure how many of you know this, but there was a company in San Luis Obispo that won not only the most innovative AI company, but also the most innovative company in the world award at South by Southwest. And that was Unanimous. Thanks. We won, and we were competing against companies like Toyota and Airbnb and Google Earth and hundreds of other finalists and thousands of applicants. And we won because of our unique approach to AI, which is where we're not trying to replace humans, We're just giving them tools to come together to make better decisions. So what's next for us? Our founder and CEO, Dr. Louis Rosenberg, started this company in SLO because he shares a similar appreciation to the area that we all do. He was a professor at Cal Poly for about 8 years until deciding to advance Unanimous full-time. We've recently hired close to 20 Cal Poly students as data science and software engineering interns. And now in our offices downtown across from the Mission, we're hiring a full team of software engineers, visual designers, UX designers to help advance our company from being a successful startup into a full-fledged world-class enterprise software company. And we're doing all of this in SLO because SLO is home for us. SLO represents the values, the culture, and the DNA that makes us all human. Thank you for your time this morning.